Let's talk about Monolith Soft and what could be happening when it comes to the rumored Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake and a very timely positioned and announced talk about the Legend of Zelda and Monolith Soft's inclusion when it comes to helping out develop the series. It just lines up so well. Who knows what's going to happen, but I have some theories on what's going down when it comes to the Ocarina of Time remake and some stuff when it comes to Monolith Soft as well. We're going to talk about that. Plus, finally, big updates when it comes to Level 5 and a lot of their highly anticipated games. We've got new information on when you're going to be able to see those and more deals when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. But before we continue on, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2. All you have to do to enter is hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed and drop a comment below. We are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 once we hit 150,000 subscribers, and it will be random. So the more that you actually comment and interact, the better chance that you have to win. Hit that like button, click that notification bell, and let's go ahead and jump right back into it. Okay, so Monolith Soft, let's discuss what's happening here, because recently Monolith Soft put out a interesting post on their website celebrating the work on the Legend of Zelda series, and it says Monolith Soft's connection to the Legend of Zelda series. And as you can see here, 4 incredible games: The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, The Legend of Zelda A Link Between Worlds, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom all had development work with Monolith Soft on the beat. So they say Monolith Soft's involvement with the Legend of Zelda series began with the partial development of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword and has continued with The Legend of Zelda A Link Between Worlds, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, becoming increasingly involved in the development of each title. Moving forward, as a member of the team creating the world of The Legend of Zelda with Nintendo, we will continue to develop games that pursue even more new surprises and emotions. And that right there gets me incredibly excited, because Monolith Soft is my favorite development studio, probably of all time. Like, I love old school Square Enix. Obviously, you love Nintendo's big games, Mario and the Zelda team and all that, but Monolith Soft hits a certain level to me, as I've been putting about 180 something hours into Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition on the Nintendo Switch 2, that they create these specific and types of games that are just super unique, and you know their touch is quality. It's not always perfect, no game is, except for Chrono Trigger, but for the most part, Monolith Soft just brings about that. They bring about surprises and emotions that few other developers can kind of hit, at least in my opinion. So with this post here, and with, of course, the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda kind of into swing, we're probably going to get this Ocarina of Time remake, in addition to next year's big Legend of Zelda film, which looks incredible so far from the little that they've shown. It definitely seems that they are setting up something here when it comes to the 40th anniversary and The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. Now, the thing about this is that we've got multiple credible sources, from Nate the Hate to VGC, that Ocarina of Time remake is actually real. So if it is real, this is something that I thought from the very beginning that Monolith Soft would be put to help out with this game. They've helped out with a variety of Zelda games, and the thing about Monolith Soft that people don't know is that it's not just one core team like the Xenoblade team and they're pulling people off to go work on Zelda. They actually have multiple teams within Monolith Soft at various locations in Japan, and a lot of them help out with The Legend of Zelda. They've helped out with Animal Crossing. They've helped out with Splatoon. So it's not just Zelda. They've got a lot of people. They've increased their size multiple times since being purchased by Nintendo about 2 decades ago. I think they're around like 50 developers or something like that beforehand, but since they've joined Nintendo, they're upward of now, I think, 300 plus developers. So they've expanded, they've gotten better, they've gotten security, and they've had their best-selling games ever under Nintendo's watch with the Xenoblade Chronicles series, outselling the PlayStation 2 popular series with Xenosaga. Obviously, more niche, but that was something that people did like when it comes to that. So they've been able to do even bigger and better things. And with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, obviously these are their biggest ever games that they've worked on. Animal Crossing, I mean, all of those, but sole development, Xenoblade, obviously. But with other helping out, these games are huge. So I do think that with Monolith Soft there, Nintendo can truly create incredible experiences with The Legend of Zelda, and I would not be surprised if The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Remake has Monolith Soft staffers on it, maybe along with Grezzo and some of the core Zelda team, because I don't think the next major Legend of Zelda game will be ready till at least 2028 or 2029, because Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, that came out in 2023, so you're going to give it at least 5 years between that next big major new Zelda game. So I'm guessing 2028 with an announcement either this year or next year for the big Switch 2 Legend of Zelda. But I think in the meantime, they're going to have this Ocarina of Time remake, and maybe Monolith Soft is on it, and if they are, then obviously they're in good hands. Same thing goes for the next big major Legend of Zelda. I'm pretty sure Monolith Soft is going to be heavily involved in that as well. They did an incredible job with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I can see them doing even better when it comes to what's next on the Nintendo Switch 2 and Zelda. So what do you guys think about Monolith Soft's involvement and some of my theories with Ocarina of Time Remake and the next major Legend of Zelda game? Let me know in the comment section below. Alright, and moving on to the next topic here. Let's talk about Level 5 Vision 2026. This is something that gets me super excited. It's actually called Level 5 Vision 2026 Craftsmanship, set for April 10th. Early in the morning, at least here in the West Coast. So we've got the latest news and updates on multiple titles from Level 5. And once again, this gets me excited because outside of Nintendo and of course a couple other different JRPG developers like Atlas and Sega, they've got some stuff that I really like. Square Enix, Capcom, they all got really good stuff. Level 5 is criminally underrated. They just take a long time to make their games, but when they do come out, they put out straight up bangers. Ni no Kuni, for example, is one of my favorites out there. So I do think that Level 5 has some incredible games. So let's talk about what you can expect from this Level 5 Vision event, which is essentially their like Nintendo Direct style of presentation. So Level 5 will host a Level 5 Vision 2026 Craftsmanship on April 10th at 6 a.m. PT/21 JST, the company announced. You'll be able to watch it on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure I will be able to live stream the event, so we'll be up bright and early to check out what Level 5 has for us, and we'll talk about that here as well. Now, the broadcast will feature the latest news and updates on multiple titles from Level 5. English and traditional Chinese subtitles will be available. Stay tuned. So let's talk about this. You've got Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, which is, from what I understand, a Switch 2 exclusive for right now at this point, so we'll see about all of that. But Professor Layton's coming. That should be really good based off of what we've seen so far. The next big game would be like the spiritual successor to Yokai Watch, and it's called Holy Horror Mansion, which this game we don't really know too much about. They just had one kind of like CG-ish type of trailer, but maybe they show off more footage on what that game's going to end up being. They shared a little bit, but there really isn't too much known about that game, but I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what they do differently from Yokai Watch, so we'll see if that happens, and maybe we get a Switch 2 port of Yokai Watch 4, which was never officially localized in English. Maybe they finally decide to say, okay, we'll just bring that game over in the meantime, because it's still a Nintendo Switch 1 and PlayStation 4 game, and it's only in Japanese from what I understand. So if they can get a localization of that, I think that'd be pretty cool. But the big game that everybody wants them to talk about and we need to see more information on is Deca Police. That is the huge game because that was announced back in early 2023 at a Nintendo Direct. So we are 3 years plus and there hasn't been too much information on this game. And while they've shown a lot of gameplay and information on this game, it's went through some changes on what the game was going to be, the scope and scale, even to the point to where now they're adding an anime as well. So maybe they're writing a lot more on Deca Police than what we first thought when they showed off the game. Like, I think it looks cool. I felt that Deca Police could be a really good title based off some of the detective stuff that they're doing, the combat and gameplay options. They've made a lot of adjustments. People seem to have responded nicely to the game at Tokyo Game Show. I think it even won Game of the Show one of the years that it was there. But Deca Police is absolutely going to be a key game to look out for. And I'm guessing they're going to announce a Nintendo Switch 2 version of Deca Police, because right now it's only set, I think, for PlayStation, PC, and Nintendo Switch 1. So obviously Nintendo Switch 2 has to be part of the equation there. And I think that might have even played a part into the game getting delayed a little bit as well, making sure that that Switch 2 version is up and going nice, because you're looking at the Japanese sales charts where level 5 does count on Japan quite a bit for their games. Yes, US is still the biggest market for their titles, but Japan's still a big market as well. So I do think that they want to make sure that that Switch 2 version is ready to go. So I'm looking forward to Deca Police. I think they have to kind of show it now at this point. Apparently it's supposed to launch this year along with the first information on the anime, so we'll see if that comes in tandem with it, but I'm looking forward to it because Deca Police looks awesome, and level 5 makes great games. So hopefully more Holy Horror Mansion, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, maybe a surprise or two, some updates for Fantasy Life, and of course the big one, Deca Police. So what do you guys think about the Level 5 Vision 2026 Craftsmanship event set for April 10th at 6 a.m. PT, 9 a.m. ET? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, there is a limited time Switch 2 offer to get you a bit more value on one of the hottest things right now, which is Super Mario Galaxy. With the movie, it's really just boosting the sales of the game. And if you're planning on buying a Nintendo Switch 2, you can actually save a bit of money with this promotion that Nintendo is doing. So in today's announcement, Nintendo recapped the benefits of playing Super Mario Galaxy 1+2 on the Nintendo Switch 2, but here's the deal first. Now, the offer goes into effect starting on April 12th, so that's going to be next week as of the time that I'm recording this video, lasting through May 9th, so almost about a month there, not bad. Those who purchased Nintendo Switch 2 at the same time as the physical or digital versions of the games can save $20. There are different major retailers such as Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, Target, and Walmart that all have this available. So pretty much all of the major retailers, you'll be able to save the $20. Now, the reason why this is a big deal is because the Mario Galaxy movie. There are so many people who probably don't have a Nintendo Switch 2 yet. Families going in to watch the movie, they watched it, maybe they have a Switch 1 and they're playing on there and they say, okay, I can upgrade to the Nintendo Switch 2 at this point and get one of the best games. Mario Galaxy 1 and Mario Galaxy 2 are some of the best games of all time when it comes to Metacritic, and also with the fans out there, some of the best selling games when it comes to 3D platformers. So I can understand why Nintendo is trying to push this with the Mario movie as well. Now, here's what you get when it comes to Super Mario Galaxy 1+2 on the Nintendo Switch 2. Players can download a free update to launch right into Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Nintendo Switch 2, the next evolution of the Nintendo Switch system, packed with upgrades and fun ways to connect and play together. Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2 contains 2 star-hopping adventures featuring enhanced resolution, improved UI, extra storybook chapters, a new assist mode, and more. Now, in Super Mario Galaxy, players will follow Mario on a journey across the cosmos to recover the stolen power stars from Bowser with help from Rosalina. In Super Mario Galaxy 2, Yoshi joins Mario's adventure through space aboard a starship shaped like Mario's head. With the free update on Switch 2, each game supports 4K resolution and Joy-Con 2 mouse support controls for a second player. So this offer comes into play following the release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, of course, and it seems like things are lighting it up at the box office when it comes to that. So I do think that that's obviously a good promotion, cross promotion with it. People are watching the movie, go check out the game, get the Nintendo Switch 2 version. And from when they first showed off this Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 collection, people were kind of negative on it and saying they didn't really do much. It's just a quick and simple port. But if you see the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game, Digital Foundry took a look at it and said, wait a minute, there's actually a lot more kind of going on here. They've cleaned up a number of textures. They've definitely done some nice work on this game. Obviously, it runs and looks better than ever. These games already had incredible art style and everything, so they even played and looked good on a Nintendo Wii, which was 480p back in the day, 20 years ago when these games were coming out. But right now, it still looks great and even better when it comes to playing it on the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you're looking to get a Switch 2 and you want to get Mario Galaxy, this might be a good time to get it. There's been a ton of talk about Nintendo raising the price of the Nintendo Switch 2, so I don't want to push the FOMO on people because you never know. They could announce a price increase. Everything's been going up in price, but while there's a lot of price increases, now might be a good time to actually push the value of the Nintendo Switch 2 being at $450, being able to get a system that does on the TV play and on the go. Battery life is not the best when it comes to that, but at the same time, you are getting a significantly upgraded system over the Nintendo Switch 1. I've been playing my Switch 2 for I think thousands of hours now at this point. I've put so much time into my Nintendo Switch 2 from just playing games, looking through what the system can do, playing Switch 1 games. I mean, it's just a fantastic system overall. So if you haven't picked it up yet, definitely check it out if you can, of course, because there's going to be some bangers coming out this year too with some of the leaks that we got. So what do you guys think about all the different stuff that we talked about here, from Zelda to Level 5, and of course this limited time offer with Super Mario Galaxy and the Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this one here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.